Hi, this is Jonesy with Jetters Northwest, and welcome to the Eagle 200 trailer jetter training session. In this session, we'll get you acclimated to your new Eagle 200 jetter, cover safety points, maintenance points, of course operations, nozzles, accessories, everything you really need to get started running your jetter. Now, this is not a replacement for the paper manuals that are included with your jetter. There'll be a manual for the jetter itself, there'll be a manual for the engine, and manuals for the trailer. Definitely recommend you go through those manuals. There'll be information in there that I will not present today. But our goal with this video is to give you a good look at everything as we describe and train, and give you something that you can use for new people or refreshers in the future as it'll be available to you. So let's get started. All right, before we get going, let's talk about safety. The number one safety thing is be trained before you go out and use the jetter. Again, review these videos, review the manuals. Whether you bring on a new person, fully train them, please, before you send them out with a high pressure piece of equipment. Because whether it's a pressure washer that you bought at the hardware store or a large hydrojetting piece of equipment like this, water jets can cut you, okay? So we'll talk about a little bit of that when we get to the operational part of things. But gotta have your personal protective equipment. I've got my safety glasses. If you're concerned about back blast at all, you might want to wear a shield. Definitely a pair of gloves. I like to have my legs covered. I don't wear shorts. And I've got leather top shoes, you know, leather boots. Those things are really important. So set yourself up so you're well protected when you're doing these jobs out in the field. All right, before we take a trailer out in the field, there's a few things we should cover. Number one, of course, make sure that you jack up the tongue jack once you're secure on the ball. Many times guys bring jetters in is because they drove away with the jack down, they hammered it into a curb, and it needs repair. In fact, by the way, I really highly recommend wherever you are locally, find a local trailer repair place that you can get parts from or can do the basic service on the trailer itself for you. The hitch, got to make sure your hitch is secure. Make sure it's all the way on the ball. Sometimes guys will set it down and there's a clasp in there that will sit on top of the ball if you're not careful. So make sure it's all the way down on the ball. Then you can close it up and make sure your hitch pin's in place so that it can't come undone on you. We'll cover in a moment how to do your safety chains and whatnot and how to hitch up. Moving back with this, we have a hood. We want to make sure that the clasp is on there so it's not going to retract in the wind. As we are driving to a job with water, I've filled the tank completely. This is a 200-gallon tank on the Eagle 200, that's why we call it that. We've got a trailer that has brakes and has enough GVW to tow this highway speeds. So I am not hesitating to fill this tank and drive it down the road. Now, if you are going to drive with it, say, half full, you're going to have some water surge. When you hit the brakes, you'll feel yourself at the stop light moving back and forth a little bit. It's safer if you can just get that water level down to, say, around 30 gallons or so. Then you won't get nearly as much water surge, especially if you're in on highway and you got highway lights and you got to stop fairly quick, okay? So if you're going to drive with water, we really recommend you drive with the tank full. All right, moving back. On this particular model, we have a beacon light. That's a wonderful thing to have on when you're at a site. But before we leave the shop, I like to inspect the jetting hose. Jetting hoses are subject to being ripped through the pipe. You know, sharp edges of cleanouts, you got to be careful with. We'll cover that. But if your jet hose has any scuffs or cuts that are getting into the high pressure retaining braid, it's underneath this green jacket. It needs to be red tagged and repaired before you really take it out in the field. Because as I said, high pressure water can cut you. And the most exposure you have to that is this jetting hose. As it comes out of the line or it's leading to the line, if there's a cut in it that finally gives way, then that could hurt you. So you want to, for your own safety and your people, get a good look at the hose, and if you see something questionable, tag it out and get it repaired.